This is, let's go ahead and make sure we've got this recording started. All right. Good morning. Good morning. It is a beautiful Wednesday. And today we have the privilege of hearing from Daine Clark. And now several people have already gotten a chance to hear from Daine Clark. Some people this might be your first time. It might not. But one of the things that I love about Daine is he's somebody who has rooted himself in action. He started being somebody who was, when I first heard about Daine and his story, he was like, wait a second, you mean that shy guy that everybody was talking about, who went and hid in the back, created a career in the back of the Apple store, who created a place in his life where he was just going to be able to do the work and not be seen by people, who's now leading people, who's now creating leaders. I was like, wait a second, that's somebody who I want to learn from. That's somebody who I want to figure out how to do what they're doing. There was something about Daine that really got my attention. And I think one of the things that I really appreciate most about him was his constant desire to hunt down a way to be of service. He went from being somebody who hadn't ever done real estate to somebody who got in there and has raised over $6 million from investors to focus on real estate, to be able to be there for his family, to be that consistent, frequent leader. The frequency, he focuses on frequency. He's always there, and he's consistently doing what there is to do. He's recognized as a key leader by Bob Snyder, and I'm just really excited to have him. Daine, I'm going through here right now looking to find you so I can hand the controls over to you. Give me just one moment. I see Bill. I am not seeing you, Daine. Hopefully. Oh, there you are, sir.
Can you see my picture?
I can see your picture. There you are, right there. Okay, great.
Good morning, brother. How you doing?
Man, I am doing well. It is a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Keely invited me to be here while she was heading to Salt Lake to attend her second regional. I got to tell you, man, I love the leadership and how everybody is just committed to taking one step further, that one step farther, and just, following in the footsteps of those that have come before us, like yourself and Bill and Michael. And I'm just loving it, man. I lead a company of leaders who lead by example. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here this morning. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to everybody getting a chance to hear what you have to say.
You're awesome, man. I really appreciate that introduction. That means a lot to me. So, and it actually has a lot to do with what I would love to talk about today. So without further ado, let me go ahead and share my screen. And as I'm doing that though, and you guys know how I like to work, I love sharing accountability. And so go ahead and anybody who, and like I said, I never want to force anybody, but I'm going to get you one of these days, I promise you. But go ahead and chime in and either come off of mute if you're not on the Zoom app platform. Come off of mute by hitting *6 and just tell us how many guests you had in meetings in the last 7 days, or chime in at the chat box. Either way. So I actually haven't counted, so I'm going to jump in here. And I'm going to count myself and see how many. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Cool, I had 7. And it looks like we already got some people chiming in here. Awesome. Cecilia had 7. Great job, Cecilia. Amy had 3. I had, I just lost my count actually. I think it was somewhere between 5 and 6. So I had 6 guests in meetings. Let's see. I think Renata's Team Elevate. That's probably Jeremy, I'm guessing. Great job, Jeremy. Sally had 2. Awesome. We've got tons of people who are on the phone. So let's see. If you are 435-313-0306, or 480-560-6184. You just hit *6 and then you can come off of mute. Any one of these other phone numbers on here, you're welcome to do so as well, and just give us a shout out. But yeah, chime into that chat box and let's just share. Even if we're just being 100% honest with ourselves. Even when I have 0 people, in fact, I ought to jump on there one of these days and show you guys my tracker, and I'll figure out a way, because I do it with a bunch of people who also share their numbers and share their accountability on the PIT team, for example. I don't think they would appreciate me sharing off their numbers, but I'll figure out a way to just get my numbers out there. So Mary had 6, awesome. Antoinette had 4, Robert had 2. Let's see, doing a let's see, Joanne is going to do a one-on-one. So that's awesome. Great job. That's where you collect orders and ask people to do business with you. And I'm going to talk about that today, actually. Chuck, thank you so much for being honest with yourself and with us. Watch what happens in the next 7 days by just the fact that you put this out there into the world. Same thing with Ask O'Keefe. David Rainey had 3, great job. Kevin Close had 0 as well. Great job on putting that out into the universe that you're going to improve. Watch what happens in the next 7 days, just because you were honest with yourself and you put that out into the universe for other people to see with all these witnesses here. So cool. Go ahead, and if you guys keep on jumping in, I'm going to go ahead and get this training started, though. So let me share my screen. And sorry, I got a little bit of phlegm going on here. All right. Share screen and new. Today is October. Let me just do a brand new one here. Oops, new. October 9th, Mastermind. So had a bunch of things weighing on my mind, and something came to me just like yesterday. I was actually talking to somebody about this, and all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, I have to talk about this in the Wednesday morning training. So one thing that you will find as you are building your real estate entrepreneur business, and that's what I call it these days, because whenever I get people asking me questions like, oh, what do you do for a living? Or, oh, when I'm meeting new people or whatever, or meeting up with old family members or old friends, like, hey, what are you doing nowadays? I've actually changed what I say so many times, because I always wanted to like say something that would be like, oh, cool, like tell me about that, And so lately what I've been saying is, oh yeah, lately I've just been investing in real estate. Because if I say, oh, I'm a real estate investor, people automatically, before you even get to investor, they say, oh, cool, how is it being a realtor? They think I'm a realtor. And I'm like, no, I'm not a realtor. I've always had to say, or I've always had to follow it up with, I'm not a realtor when I say it like that. And so lately I've been saying, oh yeah, I've been investing in real estate, or I am a real estate entrepreneur, putting deals together. Like I love to buy properties. And so, but the thing I want to talk about today is just creating, let me write this down, creating a real estate entrepreneur's lifestyle. So real estate entrepreneur. Oops. And I'm going to guess entrepreneur. Can't even spell entrepreneur. Is it EU? Either way, you sound it out. Entrepreneur. So creating a real estate entrepreneur lifestyle. Whoops. Lifestyle. Okay. So, and it sounds like I've got somebody off of mute. 385-216-9299. Nope, that's not who I'm looking for. Oh, Robert Katona, off of mute. Did you want to say something, or I'm going to mute you?
I will mute me.
All right, cool. So, creating the real estate entrepreneur's lifestyle. So, like Jeremy said, this was very, very hard for me early on, just because I was so flipping shy. But I'm going to give you guys just a couple of tips And I'm going to share a couple of stories that really made a big difference early on. And so you guys have all heard me say that, or maybe you have, maybe haven't, but I've talked about how every single human being in the United States, because that's where Renatus reach is currently. Won't be like that forever, but story for another day. But every single human that is inside of the United States of America right now has a relationship to real estate. And so our job as an entrepreneur, or as a real estate entrepreneur, is really just to give people exactly what they want. And that's it. As a real estate entrepreneur, there are so many things that we have the ability to, and even just being a part of Renatus. I was actually talking to somebody just last night that inspired me to talk about this training today. Every single person that you meet, I mean, you can help them. There's so many people that you can just give them exactly what they want. So really briefly, like, we're not going to do the training on this because I've talked about this before, but every single human can become a passive, they can create a passive relationship to real estate investing. They can create an active relationship to real estate investing. And this is obviously what we have chosen as Renatus students. Like, we want to go for an active approach to learn the ropes, to analyze deals, to find deals, to put them together and help other people. And just because we're helping other people, we are going to make some cash, right? This is how you become very, very wealthy in the real estate world. Yeah, by being an active investor. To be a passive investor, you have to be wealthy first, because really you're just going to throw money at stuff. Okay, so and then the third type are people who have some kind of a property and they have a problem. These are the people that we can help. Okay, a property with a problem. And lastly, people who are not interested, and that happens. And if you've ever heard me talk about the not interested box, you'll hear me say time and time again, and it is so true. I have way too many stories to prove that this not interested box, anybody that ever turns you down or says I'm not interested, or I don't want that, or this, or even come to like a meeting on a Thursday night or Wednesday night or whatever, go to a webinar series, I don't care. Anybody that ever tells you that they're not interested or they ghost you, that box is going to make you filthy, stinking rich. Okay, so I don't have a ton of time to go into that and share some stories, but just a couple items, food for thought on this not interested box. Let's say you're going to flip, let's say you're a real estate entrepreneur that's going to flip a house. Who is going to buy that house from you? The person who buys that house from you when you are a house flipper is going to be somebody who is not interested in investing in real estate, because they are buying that property retail, where you fixed it up and you're pushing the market, and you're either at the top of the market or even pushed it just past the top of the market, just because of the setting of the trends lately in the United States, that things are going up. These people are going to buy property from you retail, right? And yeah, maybe that person that rejected you isn't going to buy that from you, but believe me, that type of a mindset is going to be the one. So we thank those people, right? Anytime anybody ever tells you, no, I'm not interested in real estate investing, you just kind of bow and say thank you in your mind. Don't actually do this for reals, because they'll probably think you're really weird, but just kind of bow and say, thank you so much for being the type of person that is going to make me very wealthy in real estate, because they're going to buy your house retail. They're going to rent from you, right? And maybe, like I said, maybe that person isn't going to rent from you, but the mindset. We as real estate entrepreneurs, we need most people to have a mindset of, I don't want to invest in real estate, because those are the consumers of real estate. Okay. So again, just never, ever, ever let yourself get down if somebody rejects, if somebody says, I'm not interested, if somebody goes another way, if they ghost you, never, because those are the ones, I'm going to say this over and over and over again. These are the ones that are going to make you very wealthy. Okay. So let's talk about the lifestyle. Creating an entrepreneur, real estate entrepreneur's lifestyle. Our only job is obviously, number one, to get educated, because you got to know. And if you've ever seen the three-phase template that Renatus has produced of getting through your essential classes and starting to make connections, getting through all of your AIT classes and making more connections. So obviously the first step is to get educated. But once you are going and once you are ready to just start taking massive action, your number one job is just to connect the dots. That's it. All you do is connect the dots. You connect these three categories, right? So if you look into my business, I actually have a list of people who are interested in passive investing in real estate, passively investing in real estate. I have a list of people who are interested in actively investing in real estate. I've got a list that I'm working through of people who have some kind of a problem. People we're making offers on, okay? And here's the cool thing. As a real estate entrepreneur, you don't have to know every single person in the passive active or people with a problem. You can connect it to other people. So what I'm getting at here is it's a connection game, right? The real estate investor or the real estate entrepreneur is a connector. All you do is connect the dots, okay? Because if we come down here just a little bit, actually I want to keep that on the screen. If I come down here to do a real estate deal and get it done, I'm trying to remember which, I think it was Jay Massey that teaches this in his class, but to do a real estate deal, you need time, you need money, and you need experience. And obviously you need to have the deal. And so notice that with an active investor, these are the people who want to spend time. These are the professionals that serve real estate investors with their time, like a realtor, like a contractor, like a wholesaler. Whoops, wholesaler starts with a W. Like a wholesaler, like a title agent, like a CPA, an attorney, an inspector, a loan officer. Okay, all of these professionals that, there's the active real estate investor is going to be the one who is the CEO of the project, and that's where Renatus students come into play. So it's called CEO. That's where Renatus students come into play, but it's also all these other entities, right? So when I go, like the deal that I bought last week, I mean, a lot of people got paid on that property, right? We bought this house from somebody who was in trouble and needed some help. And so people that got paid on this property were title agents. We had insurance. We had an inspector. We had a sewer scope. We had, there's going to be a contractor that comes in and gets involved with all this. So like we're creating jobs. We're creating opportunity for all these different people, right? So lots of active, time. There's time going on, and in the money side, anyway, I think you guys know where I'm going with this. And so the only thing that I connect, right, as soon as I have the start of one of these commodities, the deal, the time, or the crews, or the manpower, if you will, and the money. So as real estate investors, that's all we're doing is connecting these three categories in the right ways, right? So we just become really good at putting these puzzle pieces together and saying, hey, here's an opportunity of a property that needs to be purchased, to help the owner to get out of their situation, whether, in some cases it's because mom and dad died and all the kids were left with the house. And if they're not real estate investors, they're going to be like, yeah, sell it. I want the money. Like, I want the money now, right? They're not thinking like, oh yeah, let's rent this thing out and this is going to be an egg, this is going to be a chicken for us. Like, this is going to be monthly cash flow for the rest of our lives, right? They're not thinking that. They're thinking, oh my gosh, how much could we sell this for? How much money could I put in my bank account at one time so I can go use that and consume it, right? And so again, all we're doing is connecting the right dots with the right resources. And as a real estate investor, as you gain knowledge and you start making these connections, then you start connecting to them to the right places, okay? Whether it's deals, whether it's new students in Renatus, I mean, you name it. And here's where it becomes really fun in my mind. And it's so weird. I was actually thinking about this just yesterday. Like, I've become this person who pushes a lot of sales through, my real estate and my real estate business. I mean, this year, I haven't done all the math yet, but I'm pretty dang close to pushing over $1 million in revenue in sales through just my own personal efforts, whether that's through Renata students or through my real estate. Over $1 million. So it would be okay for me to say that I've become a salesman. But what's funny about that is that I don't feel like a salesman. All I do and all I focus on, it's funny. I will call myself a salesman all the time because I got to be honest with myself. But it's weird because I don't feel like I'm out there trying to like sell and be like, yeah, buy this. Yeah. I'm just trying to find. And here's actually the best way I can put this. Anytime you meet a human, all I'm trying to do is figure out which candy bar is their favorite flavor, right? Do you like the Butterfinger? Do you like the Reese's? Do you like the Kit Kat? Or do you like the Twix, right? And and nobody likes Twix, so no, I'm just kidding, right? So all I'm trying to do is figure out which candy bar, pick your flavor. Do you want to go, do you like the idea of a passive, active, do you have a property you need to sell, or, some kind of deal? Or are you going to be the type of person that the mindset of the type of person that pays me rent, that pays me retail value for my properties, things like that, okay? And so you start developing this lifestyle of becoming a detective, if you will. Right, I would call myself more of a detective than anything, because that's what I want to do. I want to find out about this person, ask them questions, and drop a few line items. And it's so funny. I mean, it's sales, guys. It's the funniest thing. You have to get over that in your mind. I had to very, 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 very difficultly just program my brain that I'm in sales, yes, but here's how you do it like a pro. Here's how you do it like somebody that everybody wants to be around, because they can tell, they'll feel it. They can tell that you legitimately and genuinely care about them. So connecting those dots. So that's all I do. Every time I meet somebody, whether they're new, whether I haven't talked to them in a while, I literally just had my cousin join Renatus. Her and her new husband, they've been married for less than a year. We went to the family reunion a few months ago, and they, again, Daine, what are you up to these days? Oh, cool, you're doing, you're investing in real estate. Oh my gosh, how did you get into that? And so they're just asking questions. I'm just dropping line items. I'm asking them questions like, oh yeah. Had you ever considered, doing stuff like this? Like, sounds like because they got kind of excited about it. Oh yeah, had you ever thought about this? Like, oh my gosh, yeah, that would be so cool. We've been talking about what we want to do. Like, we both have just had jobs our whole lives. And so here they were just like telling me exactly what they want. So I'm like, you know what? You should look into what I've been doing. You should look into how I've been getting my start. Right. And so I want to I want to pull myself back a little bit because yeah, now that I've had a bunch of success and things like that, you can use that. But dude, you have to realize that I made money before I was a huge success as well. Like I had to become a huge success by going past not any success, right? And so as the early words that I would say to people, like, yeah, you should see like what I'm doing, you should see what I'm learning, you should see like how I'm setting myself up for this success by surrounding myself with people and knowledge and just resources to be able to connect, anything to each other, a deal, a money, a property, you name it, and people. And so I just ask all these questions, and it just becomes a lifestyle that you don't ever leave a conversation without asking them about themselves. And then, so let me talk about this. So asking questions about their family, asking questions about their occupation, asking questions about their recreation. I love Woody. I love Woody's question on this. Like, hey, other than work, what are you most passionate about right now? I ask that question to almost everybody I meet if I get the chance. But for sure, I'm asking them about their family and their occupation. And if we get to recreation, then that's how I say it. And so I'm asking all these questions. So if you'll notice, I'm asking questions for these people, FOR. I'm asking about their family, occupation, recreation. And again, it's just a lifestyle. And every time I meet someone, this is my objective. And it's not because I'm trying to lead them to anything. I genuinely want to know, how's your family? Oh my gosh, tell me about little Jimmy and what he's doing. Like, holy cow, he's walking now? Like, man, that is so crazy, right? And so you start asking about the family, like, oh, how's work going? Like, holy cow. Like, oh, really? That's so cool. Like, you're doing, like, you just got a pay raise? Like, man, that's awesome. Hey, had you ever considered getting involved in real estate? Like, I met some guys that whenever they would get a pay raise, they would actually just take that money and go and invest in real estate with that extra cash that they were getting, and they would continue to live their life. I mean, you guys hear this every single week in the velocity banking example, right? Of people who work that job and then they start taking any extra income that they start making and dumping it back into more real estate, right? So that's what I do. Like, I would just look for, as I'm genuinely asking about themselves, and I would connect whatever they say to investing in real estate. Okay? Anytime, like literally, like, oh my gosh, you guys are pregnant with your first kid? That's so cool. Hey, have you ever considered getting involved in real estate? I met a guy that said that he was going to buy a property a month, and when he got pregnant with their first kid, and he ended up, instead of just doing a deal every single, or sorry, not a property a month, a property a year, when he had him and his wife got pregnant with their first kid, and he ended up doing about a property a month over the course of the next like 4 years, just because, I mean, it started taking off, right? So basically you connect anything that they say to, like, holy cow, have you ever considered getting involved in real estate investing? And the only reason I'm able to connect anything and everything is because I genuinely love to hear other people's stories. Like, whenever I'm meeting somebody in Renatus, whenever I'm speaking or whatever, and meeting students, I love hearing their stories, right? Every time Renatus comes out with a testimonial video of some student from somewhere in the United States, I watch it. And I ask them, I either watch it, or if I meet them, I ask them questions about, their experience, just so I can get stories of every single scenario so that I can connect anybody to real estate. And I can honestly say, like, oh my gosh, that's so cool that you're telling me about your life. I met someone who is similar to you, and they started investing in real estate, because of that thing that you're telling, so, and just inspire them. And that's how I get them. Like, that is honestly more often. And at this point, I'm giving away a few of the things that I'm going to be teaching in regionals this weekend. But that's okay. That's okay, because not everybody here is going to be in regionals. If you see some of this stuff because you are going to be at the Utah regionals, then just pretend like you're hearing it for the first time. Okay. But anyway, do me that favor. But anyway, so as you're talking to them, you have one job: to figure out what their favorite flavor is in real estate. And that's where it all begins, right? This is not even this is the first step, but this is not even getting started yet. Because if you start having people who start telling you about, oh yeah, like if I give you real life examples, oh yeah, I just sold my house and I've got $150,000 just sitting in the bank, and every time I open up my account, it gives me a heart attack because what the heck am I going to do with all of this money? You know, and I don't plan on buying a house or anything in the near future. So literally this money is just sitting there, and it's scaring me because if I spend it, it's gone. Like, I'm never going to see that again if I just spend it on something. So, you know, I was like, all right, you're going to be a passive investor, right? And the cool thing is a lot of people who are passive investors end up becoming an active investor because they're like, oh man, if I just learn this myself, then I can just go buy my own properties, and I don't have to just, you know, piggyback on other people's deals and just, you know, act like a bank. I could go get my own properties and do this. All right. And so other real life, you know, like I talked about my cousin, you know, we're sitting at Bear Lake up here in Utah at our family reunion, and, you know, everybody else has gone to bed and we're just sitting around the fire and just catching up, chatting. You know, they're telling me about their life and how they're doing this and doing that and having fun and you know, being newlyweds basically, and they've got some big dreams and goals and life, you know, exciting things. And then I just start relating to some of their dreams and goals to real estate investing. And they're just like, oh my gosh, yeah, that's so, you know, we had thought about this, right? Most people thought about investing in real estate. Newsflash, most people. It's crazy. And so they're like, yeah, well, you know what? Come down on Thursday night. I actually we're gonna be doing a big real estate investor training stuff and things and stuff. I call it Real Estate Church. And so like, cool, you know, so they show up and they put their $20,000 in to buy their Extreme Plus combo within a month later. And they're stoked, right? They're so stoked to just start that process and go through that there are 3 phases. Or somebody else, you know, you catch up with them. And like, I met a guy, or I shouldn't even say I met a guy. I was just talking to a guy that I've known for years and just asking him about himself. And he's telling me about like how he wants to do this and do that. And then I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, you know, he says a couple of things like, oh my gosh, I've actually wanted to get into real estate for that very reason. Like, have you ever done that? He's like, yes, actually, I have invested in real estate. He's, in fact, I have a property right now. And in fact, if you're interested in investing in real estate, you might want to buy my property, right? And so for him, that was just basically telling me that he wants to sell this, but he did not yet disclose that he had a problem, right? When I said, oh yeah, I'm getting into real estate investing, and this was when I was so new, I had not made any money yet. And I'm sitting here telling him like, yeah, I'm getting into it. And he goes, well, dude, you might want to buy my property. And so then we go down that road, and then, you know, we ask more questions that are based on this flavor. Well, tell me about the property. Well, you know, in this one, well, tell me what kind of return would turn your head. Well, tell me, you know, what kind of real estate intrigues you. You know, do you want to flip houses? Do you want to buy rentals? You know, so again, you just ask more questions. You're a detective. Detectives get paid way more than just a sleazy salesman that wants to talk people into things. You want to ask people into things. Okay? So as I'm asking him all these questions about this property, I learn, dude, he's got a problem. Like, he needs to sell me this property. He doesn't want to just sell it to me. He needs to sell this property to me, because if he doesn't, dude, he's going to be in a tough spot. if he doesn't. He's going to lose this property. Okay, so the creating a lifestyle of the entrepreneur, of the real estate entrepreneur, is basically just connecting the right dots, connecting the right people. And it's always people, right? It's never properties. It's never, whatever. It's always people. And if you are like myself, where people were the hardest thing about life, I mean, hiding, Jeremy nailed it. I would literally hide in the back of that Apple store because I did not want to talk to people. The other jobs that I got after the Apple store, I tried a bunch of different things. I would literally hide when customers would walk in because I was like, I was more of like a techie guy. I could help them with like some computer stuff. And so I'd be helping the receptionist because she has some computer problem or whatever. And I would hear the little doorbell thing ring because somebody opened the door and was about to walk around the corner and come into her little reception area. And I would like leave. I would run to the little office that had all like the supplies and just kind of hang out in there and like text or email, and just do something that was in my mind productive at that time because I didn't want to see the customers because people scared me. So it was the hardest thing. So if you are like me, then we gotta change that. People are hard. People are the hardest thing because people will become your greatest asset. People will become, the more people that you become or that you begin to know and begin to connect with genuine motivations to help them, that is when your pocket is going to swell. And believe me when I say that you will begin to be blessed in greater ways than you have ever experienced before, because you are out there genuinely caring about people, right? All of you on this call, you are all real estate entrepreneurs. Did you know that less than 1% of the population is willing to do what you are about to do and what you are going through right now? All of you as real estate entrepreneurs, and I'm talking to each of you individually. So you as a real estate entrepreneur, you're going to change people's lives just because you know how to solve problems. And if you don't know yet, believe me, you will. You hang around us long enough, you watch enough class in your Renatus tuition. Seriously, like some people, when I pull up my Renatus education and I show people how much class I have gone through, like people are like, holy crap. Like, you've watched all of that? Yes. Because I need to know how to help people. If I connect with somebody, I need to know how to help them. I need to know how to connect them with their favorite flavor of whatever that is, right? So yes, I do take my classes very seriously. And when I was getting started, I would literally time block my calendar, and my wife could not call me. She couldn't text me, like my friends, family, like nobody. I would sit and the rest of the world would be turned off, and I'd watch my classes just because I need to know how to connect the dots when I meet somebody and they start telling me what their favorite flavor is. And if they tell me that they want to become a real estate investor just like me, or they want to invest in real estate just like me, I need to know. Now I don't throw up on them. No, like if they want that information, they're going to get that from the class. They're not going to get that from me. But I'm going to help connect them to those classes, just like I did, just like I connected to those classes. That's my job, to help them connect to those classes. Because all of these people in here, Brian Sump, the Echeverias, Let's see, the Kendalls, Gavin McCaleb. I mean, all of these people in here, they are the ones that have created their multi-million-dollar businesses in real estate. I'm just getting started. And I still pull that flag. I was like, oh yeah, I'm just getting started. I mean, yeah, well, like I mentioned, I'll revenue over $1 million this year between all my different, all the different things I got my hands in. But I'm just getting started, because I will be a lifetime student, and I will continue to learn how I can help every single individual that I connect to, even if they become somebody that just gets put on my not interested box. And really, I call this my not interested yet box. Not interested yet. Oops. Because believe me, they will call. They will call you a year from now. And if you stayed focused, I mean, imagine what would happen if you stayed focused and somebody called you back that was not interested today, and they called you back a year from now. Imagine what you get to say to them at that point. Still genuinely caring about them and all that kind of stuff. Obviously we're not just gonna be like, oh yeah, like you made the dumbest decision ever to walk away from this. Now I'm freaking, yeah, I did all this stuff. I got my dreams. I did all, I did it, man. You're an idiot for not doing. No. You still genuinely care. You're like, oh yeah, I was able to do this. I was able to pay it off. Like, man, I own everything in my life. I own everything that I have free and clear. Like, you should look at this again and see if it's a good fit for you, because a lot can change in a year, right? I got so many people that came back years later, either months later or years later, and were like, holy crap, Daine, you stayed with this? Man, and they would literally hand me their credit card and say, I need to do this. Let's go. Okay? So just remember, all of you are a real estate entrepreneur, and you connect people to what they need because you know how to connect them to what they need. You have those resources. I mean, you have a wealth of relationships. Just by being a part of Renatus, you have a wealth of relationships that can help you as you're getting started. Because in reality, we are all just getting started. Even Bob Snyder would tell you that we are just getting started. Okay? So thank you all for being on here. I'm going to jump over and make sure that I don't have a bunch of questions on here. Looks like we have a whole bunch of chats. Entrepreneurs, you say new time, certify new today. How do you explain? Okay, here's a good one. Ashley Rose. Daine, how do you explain to someone, day parents, to trust your decision in this until you have the experience to show them? Actually, if I am understanding this correctly, here's how, this is, oh man, I was talking about this to somebody yesterday anyway. So great question, Ashley. Let's answer this really fast, and then we'll wrap up the call. This is actually how Renatus was designed. Every single person that is literally just getting started, because yeah, I say I'm just getting started, but yeah, I've had some experience in real estate. But every single person that is just getting started has a wealth of credibility behind them, right? You need to understand that this is bigger than just you, right? This is not just you. You are not alone. You need to understand that you have this massive credibility behind you when you're talking to somebody. And if they give you any grief, then you because you have gone through and found all of these stories, I'm going to show you guys where to find these. Let's see, YouTube. I have subscribed to Renatus, but I'm just going to search it as if I hadn't. So let's see, I think they have it called My Renatus. So you're going to search Renatus. Okay, it showed up as Renatus. You're going to subscribe, and then you're going to go to playlists and reviews. Look at this, 64 stories of people that have gone through Renatus and had something that they just had to share with the world. Okay? And so if you feel like you are still at ground zero in credibility, remember, that's where we all started, right? I had credibility 0 before I had credibility 0.01. And that was probably the hardest step, to go from credibility 0 to credibility 0.01. That's the hardest step. But just remember, knowledge is credibility. If you have more knowledge than the person you're talking to, that is credibility. Experience only creates wisdom. Okay? So I got somebody off of mute. Go ahead and chime in.
Can you show that search on the screen?
What I searched? I basically just searched Renatus.
And YouTube.
On YouTube. Yep.
Okay, thanks.
I searched Renatus on YouTube and subscribe to their channel. And so they've got tons of amazing stuff in here, right? And so you don't want to just send this to people. You don't want to just send this to people. You want to tell people, because again, knowledge is credibility. And if you tell this other person's story, then they're going to be like, oh my gosh. But if you just say, oh, just watch this YouTube video, then they're going to be like, oh man, they're just like trying to sell me on something that they don't even take seriously themselves. If you take the time and you watch every single one of these testimonial videos, you will equip yourself with gobs of credibility. That if anybody, I repeat, anybody comes at you, number one, don't waste your time with them and try to talk them into anything. But if you feel that need to defend yourself, be like, oh yeah, and you just start telling stories. Because you know what the coolest thing about stories is? Nobody can argue with stories. Nobody. Especially if the story is true. Yeah, if you tell bogus stories, yeah. But if you tell a true story, nobody can argue with the story. So hope that helps, Ashley. And great question. I think everybody needed to hear that. So, LaShawn, I've got you off of mute.
No, I was just saying thank you.
My pleasure. So everybody, thank you so much for being here.
One quick question.
And so I got one more person. Jeremy.
So you've been talking about this training you're going to deliver at regionals, and dude, man, I am just waiting to hear it. Will you take that training to deliver this weekend and deliver it to us next Wednesday?
Maybe.
So
it will be coming through. Yeah, it will be coming through. Yes, but I just want people that can make it to regionals. Like, I really want them to be there, because that's what I've been preparing for. I've been dumping a lot of time into this.
Yeah,
and I'm super stoked. But yes, it will be coming through over the course of the next little while. Yes.
Well, thank you for everything.
That's not an excuse for any of you guys not to show up to regionals here. If you can make it, then I expect you to be there, because it will be amazing. Or just make sure you attend your own regionals as well in your area, and that's great. But yes, it will be coming through over time.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
So cool. Well, thank you all. Have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. For those of you that I'll see at regionals, if we've never met, try to come and say hi. Would love to shake your hand. And I'll see you guys this weekend and or next week. Have a great Wednesday.